What's going on? Welcome back to the channel. So today we're going to talk to you about Opendoor. I want to go over some of the data points, break it down on what just came out associated to Opendoor and some key levels to watch for. Before we get into any of that, make sure you guys hit that thumbs up, and with that, let's get right to it. So Opendoor right now is flat. We're seeing a lot of volatility, and that's just because the market doesn't generally know where to take Opendoor and a lot of other kind of growth stocks today because we haven't really had that much in data. So it is more of a reflective day because there's been a lot of big things that has happened in the broader market over the last 48 hours. So the market's kind of reflecting on that. Plus, near the end of the video, I'm going to go over a key level that Opendoor really does need to close and stay above today. But tomorrow also is a big deal for the broader market. So we have mortgage applications, mortgage market index, ADP, and Jolt. So this most likely will move the market as well as especially Opendoor. But as of today, there really hasn't been that much in news. So no press releases on social media. There hasn't been anything coming out from Kaz or the Opendoor team, and Eric seems to be doing his own thing, talking about politics. He's out in Neverland. So nobody's really kind of hyping up Opendoor. And as I've indicated in the past, Opendoor is a very big momentum play, and you need kind of updates. It doesn't have to be like groundbreaking updates every single time, but generally just saying that, hey, I'm working on this, or I have some pretty good results from this project or whatever else, because there's quite a few things that Kaz is working on right now. I feel like that is what Opendoor does need to really move it to kind of the next leg higher. One thing did come out after hours yesterday, and that was a Form 4 yesterday at 4:46. And not to say that someone is cursed, but I think Christina is cursed. And so she is the CFO. I've never really liked her, to be honest, from the get-go, only because of her history. Kaz, on the other hand, has spoken very positively of her on social media, obviously promoted her, and so clearly he sees something that maybe I do not. But she was awarded 2 rounds of around 1.7 million shares. So this is performance linked, as what is described right down here. So in general, it is what it is. So let me know your viewpoint on that in the comments below. It does go over right here that it's also based on the closing stock price as well. So there's the same tranches that he himself does have, so Kaz. So definitely good to see. But as I mentioned, every time Christina's name is listed, Opendoor usually does close in the red. I don't know if there's any coincidence to that, but in case you did miss my previous videos about her, I don't like her history because of this. So this is exactly what she generally does do. She gets stock, transaction code A, so not using her own money, just actually receiving stock, and then she ultimately sells it. And it isn't for tax purposes. It is a straight up sell because it is transaction code S. So even way back in 2022, awarded stock and then just pretty much coasted off of that. Then back in 2024, same thing, just coasted off of that. Most recently in November, then 6 days later, instantly selling. So if history is going to repeat itself, most likely in the next couple of trading days, we will see another Form 4 from her, and it will be her selling. So yeah, let me know your viewpoint on that in the comments below. Of course, this whole amount she's not entitled to just yet, only because there's those actual tranches. So again, something just to keep in mind. Regarding shorts, they are increasing 384,000 shares. At the time of doing this video, around 4.8 million shares is being traded. So not doing too much for shorts. 15.04% of the free floats being shorted, works out to be 117.67 million shares overall being shorted. So most likely also in the next couple of trading days, we will be getting another report from the exchange, because exchanges do provide reports 2 times per month on the actual number of shares being shorted. And since ultimately November, end of November, there has been a scenario playing out of naked shorting. I know that's very difficult and hard to prove, but based on this, shares on loan being 82.91 million, number of shares being shorted 117. So math doesn't necessarily add up for that. And so that's kind of sketchy if you ask me. So hopefully the new report will kind of just categorize this as maybe a glitch. So we'll have to kind of wait and see how that does play out, but stay tuned. So this is kind of the last couple reports that did come out, really signaling that shorts were overall returning, but yet there's again a lot of sketchiness happening behind the scenes. Looking at the options, 612,000 in calls, 72,000 in puts, and 49% of all the options being done today are bullish in nature. So good to see. From a bull standpoint, you see a consensus for it to be roughly around 7 by the end of this week. So definitely good to see. Bears are anticipating for it to be sub kind of between 550 and 6. Not really much going on. Again, the market opened roughly around 40 minutes ago, so take this all with a grain of salt. If there is some big updates that does happen today, I'll do a PM video as well, just on a side note. But aside from that, right now we're seeing about 4 transactions on the secondary market. All of them are sells. So institutions aren't really kind of buying into the hype right now. So a little bit of consolidation. Then these are all the transactions occurring on the dark pool above $100,000. So not too much, a lot of the whole numbers. That does signal that hedge funds are kind of trading. But as well as shorts are increasing, like I mentioned, what was that, 384,000. Aside from all of that, though, with it at 631, it is trading between this pivot and this S1. So I'm looking at the 1-day chart. So these are very strong support and resistance points. So as I kind of mentioned at the very beginning of the video, it needs to get above and stay above that 641. And a lot of other kind of growth and speculative stocks on my watch list are in the green, except for Opendoor. So potentially, again, the curse of Christina is maybe very much true, but still, for today, just watch for it to close above 641, which in my opinion isn't really far-fetched to assume. Aside from all of that, quickly popping right over here on the actual chart, things are still looking pretty good. It is above that 10-day moving average, so signaling that good amount of momentum is still there and present. So that 10-day moving average is sitting at 611. I don't personally see that being touched whatsoever today. Even looking at the market position, you see a lot of good willing buyers up until around that $6 range. It could go either way, so if we get some negative data, it could consolidate to that general range, or tomorrow if we get some good data, similarly, it could really push higher to, in theory, that 100-day moving average, and that's sitting at 699. This is going to be a very big deal, and difficulty for Opendoor is that 50-day and also 100-day moving averages for it to get above that. In order for that to occur, I do believe something operational does need to be provided, so some sort of update. And Kaz has even signaled many times that there's a lot of moving parts, a lot of big projects, groundbreaking projects that could come to fruition. So all he has to do is just give one general vague update about one of those. That might be enough to really push it higher in combination with some good data. Aside from that, there really hasn't been that much in articles talking about Opendoor. So as I indicated in the past couple of videos, I think just institutions are truly just waiting for Opendoor's upcoming earnings, which have not been announced just yet on the actual date, but institutions are just simply waiting for that to come out, and then technically we can hopefully move higher from that. But there really hasn't been that much in analyst ratings or anything along those lines. This is the flow from today. So you're seeing some kind of larger and medium sized transactions, which most likely are the ones that I did bring up that are on the secondary market. And then algorithmic trading is a big deal for Opendoor as per usual. So let me know your thoughts on Opendoor. Again, it needs to really close above that 641 if it's going to see some sort of technical recovery. But even if it does dip a little bit more, take advantage if you believe in it, buy the dip, do what you need to do, or whatever floats your boat. One final thing though, pop over to my Patreon. If you're looking for some solid on-point buy signals on stocks, options, crypto, put out daily day trades, numerous swing trades, worthwhile to pop over there and check that out. With all that said, appreciate all of you watching.